Dude, your eye is 100% back to normal. I can't even tell which one it is.
Yeah, it wasn't really even. I don't really know what that was. I just had like some, like a floater afterwards, and I think it was just
Yeah.
pressure, and then it was gone in like 30 minutes, and then uh, I saw that they gave me like a huge suspension, and I was like, that'll get clear, but it'll get cleared, so it's not really a big deal. But I just for the future, I'm just never gonna say anything.
Yeah. Do you know like
Yeah.
where it came from? Is there like a shot that you took or a fight that you took that it
I
just
did
made
so.
it more prone to happen?
Yeah, I think it started probably like 4 years ago, and then like, and it's very, very rarely like when it happens, but occasionally,
Mhm.
like, yeah, if it gets clocked good, then like I'll have like a floater for 10 minutes or so.
Do you think you're like more likely? Because sometimes, you go to the doctor and for a quick fix, it takes like surgery or you don't even know like what it'll do. So given the fact that it got so much attention because of the big suspension and because of that, and now seeing that like you're perfectly fine, are you more likely to go through some type of medical procedure if needed to get that fixed?
I think it would be smart too. Yes, I probably will.
Yeah.
If I need it, I don't even know if I'll need it just because it's like, I mean, it's fine now, so maybe it's not really that invasive of a surgery, and it really won't need that long to do whatever. I can only imagine that it's just pressure from like a break that I probably had in the orbital like 4 years ago or something that just is like pushing against the eyeball weird. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about it. I think I'll just go get it checked out, probably get cleared, and then have the suspension lifted. So I mean, I'm not too worried about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Dude, that was such a sick knockout. Such a sick
Thanks.
knockout. And then hearing the fact that you're talking about you were training at your basement with Corona and everything going down. How was training like in your basement? Were you just like, oh, I'm gonna do this one kick over and over and over again, or did you practice other things?
Yeah, so March and April was pretty boring and rough because the gym was pretty much closed the entire time. So I bought a bob, one of those little stand-up guys that
Hmm.
it's a heavy bag that's just shaped like the guy. And yeah, I pretty much just punched that thing like for a couple hours a day. And I had some Taekwondo paddles that
Mm, yeah.
I just made my girlfriend hold for me in the basement because we lived together, and she just held those for me for like a few rounds every day, and I got good at it. I got pretty decent at them. I didn't just throw them just for them to be like a show thing. It was like they like
Yeah.
became legit. And then I got back to sparring because the gym started to obviously open up back in when the summertime hit a little bit, and then they worked for me in sparring.
But her shoulders must be pretty strong because that kick just, especially if you're holding it like out here, just go like bam, it's pretty rough on your shoulders. Um,
Yes,
for
she liked it a little. Oh, okay, go ahead.
no, no, no.
No, I was gonna say she hated it. She liked it in the beginning, and then she started to hate it. Yeah, but
No.
she still did it.
She was like, "Yeah, let's spend some time together." And then after feeling her shoulder, she's just like, "I just don't like you. I don't like you anymore."
Exactly. Exactly.
And well, for the fight, you also talked about mental training that you did, right? About having matching intensity and basically surpassing it and just getting focus. Is there any sort of training that you did in particular? Did you seek some like help from somebody? They have like coaches, psychologists. Did you seek any of that, or was it all your own
Yeah.
research?
No, so I've been working with the sports psych, Joey Fritz, for about 4 years, three or 4 years now.
Hmm.
And he's been like day and night changes in the last 3 4 years. But this was kind of a new issue a little bit where it was like, uh, because I think I felt like I was getting confident in like my ability to perform with like these high level guys.
Yeah.
uh I got a little bit I would say like flat in like making myself intense enough before a fight. And I
Hmm.
definitely noticed it in the Aljamain fight because he came out with a ton of intensity, and it's it's just different when you're standing across from someone and they're incredibly intense, and then you realize you have to fight them and you're not at that intensity level. That's like not a good thing, not a good thing in fighting. Definitely not a feeling that felt right or good. So since then, it's been a lot of visualization to practice some of the techniques, and then practice myself getting into a headspace that was very intense. So some of it was visualization. A lot of it was just breathing techniques that I would do before sparring. Because I mean, as you know, like every day you don't really feel like sparring hard, like especially in
Yeah.
camp when you're beat up and you're losing weight and all of that jazz. You just don't want to do it. So I would force myself to do these breathing exercises and force my body to wake up and make sure that even on my worst day, I could get myself to at least a level of performance that would be my maximum, So it was kind of just that, it was like a lot of breathing exercises, a lot of visualizations, affirmations when I needed them, like not every day did I need to affirm myself to kind of get myself pumped up. Sometimes it was easier, sometimes it was a little harder, and the affirmations would sometimes help too. But it was mainly those three things, and then it would also be visualizing a lot of things after the fight, because for me, what I'm doing is important as far as how I'm spending my time in my life. It's an important thing to me, so I don't want it to kind of just go into vain. I want there to be kind of purpose behind everything. So I would visualize like a lot of the things that would occur after the fight also that I really enjoy, because that would really, really motivate me to fight harder and to train harder that day. So things like calling my family afterwards and like seeing how happy my mom and dad were would be like something that I would add into my visualizations. And then just little things like a couple guys at the gym that I coach and I know kind of look to me as a leader.
Yeah.
Just like making those guys happy and all of that stuff, I added those into my visualization. So those types of things like really boosted my motivation to win and to train harder. So it was just kind of those three things.
Is there anything in particular that you did? Because I know fight week is pretty stressful. You have media, especially being the main event. Is there anything that you did different to last fight when it comes to mental training? Like, did you listen to motivational videos? Sometimes,
Yeah,
they'll
so
get you
sometimes that,
up, man.
yeah, they will sometimes, and they definitely help occasionally, but during the fight week, it was a lot. I forced myself to do a really extensive visualization every single day that I was there. So like packing up my bag, leaving on the bus over there, getting my hands taped, warming up, like step by step by step, all the way to the fight, all the way inside of the fight, and then all the way past the fight. So they would take like 45 minutes of the day just doing that. But it's not like we had anything else to do while
Yeah.
we were there anyway. So um, it was forcing myself to do that, which actually would help a lot. Like that would kind of bring my nerves down. It would make me feel like I did something that day to really help my odds at winning, because that fight week, that can be really stressful because you can't really work out crazy hard because you're supposed to be tapering. So you kind of have all of this nervous energy inside of you. And doing those kind of makes me feel like I was doing something that isn't tough on my body, but also keeping me really sharp. And then I would say the other thing that I did is I made sure that I never let my mind take any breaks while I was on the fight trip. Um, I wanted to make sure that at no point was I being weak in my mind. Like at no point was I like, I don't really feel like doing this. Like this is hard. Like losing weight, it really sucks. Or just having a negative attitude about anything. I didn't let my mind break for a second. And anytime any fear or any doubt or any like negative thought or anything popped into my head, I just shut it down immediately and told myself that I'm here for a reason and this is important to me. And that was, I think, really helpful too, because I was practicing Xing out all of that negative energy even before I was in the back, which is sometimes when it hits.
Yeah. Did you have any sort of fear at all that, sometimes even in fights, man, you train and everything goes great, and then fight day is just It's just one of those freaking days. Did you
Hmm.
have any fear that you were gonna have one of those?
I was a little nervous that like none of it would work. You know, like I was really nervous. I was like, because that's, I feel like almost what happened last time when I fought Aljamain. Is it was like I had this high level of intensity the entire camp. Like I was ready to go. I was ready to win. And then fight day came and it was like flat, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I was worried about that happening again. But those breathing exercises that I did before sparring, I did before the fight, and they are incredibly helpful. So I was pretty nervous that it wasn't gonna work, but like I said, like
Mhm.
I remember specifically in the back, I remember fear kind of like creeping in a little bit, and I remember like saying to it, like you know, like you don't have a home here today. Like you're
Mhm.
not gonna help me. Like I got to go do this, and you're not gonna help me. So you don't have a home here today. Um, so so yeah, you know that I did feel fear, but it was more of like a you don't have a home here today.
Yeah, not letting it in. Um, so after you called out TJ Dillashaw, right, and you guys did train together, um, do you feel like because I think no matter how much you look into a video of a person or see them fight and analyze it and just look at it every day until you're in the ring, like you don't really know like what level they're gonna have. What level I mean, as you said, like is intensity. Like you don't really know any of that. You still there's sort of like some feeling out process, and the fact that you trained with them, does that like how does that alter how you would prepare for this fight? Because you know him.
Yeah, it would definitely take, I think, a little bit extra effort in making sure that um, that I'm addressing any issue that may come up as far as like it just being weird that I used to know the guy. Like I've never fought anyone that I know, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna do that fight even. So to be honest with you, I haven't put um, like an extensive amount of thought into it, but I imagine
Mhm.
that standing across from someone that like you used to have a little bit of a relationship with, I imagine that that kind of comes with like a weird feeling, you know?
Yeah.
But like I said, like I haven't been able to think about it too much. I haven't been able to do like a visualization and kind of like see what like emotions arise when I go through that. But I imagine that it's probably going to be a little bit strange.
Yeah. And I saw that you had trained with Ryan Hall. I don't know how long
Hmm.
ago, but uh he's the special like he's just very just a special individual. Like his skills are out of this world, and I have so many of his DVDs, and like I watch him, and I'm a huge fan. But he does think kind of differently to other people, and he does view things differently to other people. So how did that relationship like come about? How did you just because he's so unorthodox, not really.
Yeah. So I watched him fight Elkins, and I was really impressed. I thought he was doing like a lot of really cool stuff, and I wanted to learn it. So I just messaged him. Um, I asked if we could train together, and I went out to DC, and I've been out like every other month since. There was a little bit of a space there during that whole like when quarantine was bad or whatever in the beginning.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I've been out there a few times now, and I do really well with people that think really outside the box, especially in
Yeah.
martial arts. Like, um, and actually are like very critical thinkers, you know. And I would consider
Mhm.
Ryan one of the more like critical thinkers that I've ever met. Um, he I really appreciate his approach to jiu-jitsu, and that like he's not going to just uh do something or not do something because it's like a taboo. He's going to be like, well, if this works, I'm going to do it. Like he was heel hooking people way back in the day before it was even considered like kind of an ethical thing. Like I remember training jujitsu at my gym like 10 years ago, and it was like, oh no, like we don't attack the legs because like they're dangerous. And it's
Yeah.
like that should be more of a reason for us to attack the legs so that other people that don't care about us don't have an opportunity to finish us on our legs. So I appreciate that about Ryan. Also, I think he's just like he's such a good communicator at like fight philosophy and fight strategy and stuff. And he's just like so fun to listen to talk. Like
Yeah.
I can't really say enough nice things. Like if you ever get an opportunity just to sit down with him, like you could tell like this is all that guy thinks about.
And what differences that you see, like grappling with him, that he does MMA, right? So he, even though it's unorthodox, he does incorporate MMA to it in comparison to just an MMA guy that learned jujitsu in comparison to a grappler.
Yeah, I mean, he was already worlds and worlds ahead of like is ahead of everyone in just the grappling area in the sport of MMA, right? So like
Hmm.
he gets to have the confidence in being like this is a move that not everyone is doing and it might seem very odd, but I know that it works. Like he has that confidence to him, and he's right. You know, like everything that he's shown me, I've been like, yeah, some of that is like a little bit strange, but you're right. Like it still works, and I think that comes from just having the confidence of like him being that good at jujitsu. Like he gets to break the rules or whatever because he knows all the rules.
Yeah. Is there any philosophy that you guys share?
Yeah, we kind of share the attitude of like going into a fight without this kind of machismo need for like being the biggest, baddest, toughest, uh, like win at all costs type of philosophy. You know, I think
Yeah.
that me and him really agree with the idea of like, yeah, we're gonna do our best. You know, and that's what we're gonna do. Winning and losing, like hopefully I win. You know, but I'm just gonna do my best. And I think me and him really see eye to eye on like that's what it's about. You know, like fighting the best guys and doing your absolute best against them is what it's really about.
Yeah. It's, um, I also saw that you went and trained with it was Andy Sauer.
Yeah.
You went to Holland. I know he goes over there a lot, and he's a great person, very nice, very animated. Um, so did you only come once to Holland, or were you here several times?
Yeah, so I've been there twice. The first time I went out, so I was in Italy doing a kickboxing tournament, and I just asked him if I could come out. Dwayne Ludwig, who I was training with at the time a little bit, kind of connected us, and then um, yeah, Andy was like, yeah, he can come out and train and blah blah blah. And so I was out there for about a month and really liked it. And Andy really took me in. Like I was staying at his neighbor's place, but I mean, he really took me in. He really treated me really nicely. He taught me a lot of really good stuff. So I decided to go back. I think next year or 2 years after for another month. And
Mhm.
then I mean, uh, just living at his neighbor's house, like spending a lot of time with his family. And I mean, for me, that was like, I couldn't believe it. Like the first time I went out there, because Andy Sauer was like him and Ernesto Hus were like my favorite K1 fighters. So, uh, like just to be out there was insane, you know, and then to have him actually be like really genuinely nice to me was also like insane. And then for him to like invite me out again was also really insane. So, I spent maybe like 2 months total training with those guys. Sorry.
It's
Can you
okay.
hear me
Sound
still?
didn't cut off this time. Yeah, it's all good.
Oh, okay, okay. I don't know why I'm getting so many phone calls, but yeah, I was out there for about 2 months, 2 months with Andy.
Did you go to I think it's called Muscle Fit Boxing. It's like these two old guys, they're very crazy. Like it's
Yeah,
very crazy Dutch
yeah,
dude. Did you try the
yeah. Have
machine?
you been out there to train?
Yeah. Yeah, I love
Oh, okay.
Holland. I love Holland, and I
Yeah.
try to make living in Holland work, but there's just wrestling and grappling is so I'm just like the striking is perfect, but But yeah, I remember when I went to
Yeah.
Muscle, it was Muscle Fit. I don't know. I'd seen it in Andy's Instagram, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna check that out. You know, it looks nice. And they were just like, that's horrible. Go on the machine. And then, did you use the machine? Did you get to try it?
I think I did, yeah. If it's the place, is it the place where they had like a huge group class going on?
Yes.
Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. It was probably
Yeah, in
that place, yeah. And the
Eindhoven, I
yeah, and the
think.
machine
Yeah.
where you, yep, 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 yep.
Yeah.
That's the same spot, yeah. Yeah, I use that machine also. Yeah, yeah, they love like blasting house music and just like getting after it in Holland. It's
Yeah.
crazy. They're the Dutch people. You know, they like to they like to have fun. Definitely.
Yeah. Dude, sometimes in like those, because I would do like the group classes too, just you gotta cut weight or whatever. And then you just see some people like hit the bag pretty good. And then like just
Yeah,
walk out like with their bike and stuff, just work dress, but Jesus, that's some high skill.
yeah. The kids too. The kids because I teach the kids classes at high altitude martial arts in Aurora. Um,
Mhm.
I came back and I was like, listen, you kids got to get a lot better because these kids out in Holland, these Dutch kickboxer kids are like beasts. Beasts. I like couldn't believe it. I was like, geez, man, they're like really beating each other up. It was cool.
And their hair is perfect. They all have
Yeah,
like the
all of them.
slicked
Yeah,
hair, those little kids too.
yeah, 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 all of them.
How is it like teaching kids classes? Like, what benefit do you
Um,
feel you get from it?
I mean, I enjoy it. I enjoy like kids for me are easier to work with than adults. Like I way more prefer like being around like kid energy than I do like adult energy. Um, they're just I well, one, high altitude martial arts is the place where I started. Um,
Mhm.
so I like to use that as like a way that like I get to give back to that gym. And two,
Yeah.
I just like teaching kids. Those are probably the only two reasons.
Mm. Um, going back to the Dutch kickboxing, because one of the things I find really fascinating is as much as I see Dutch kickboxing in your striking, I see that it's not only Dutch kickboxing. There's been a lot of modifications, right? Like you feint a lot more. You feint, you jab. If they're coming in, you always ready to counter. Never like heavy footed. Go to the body, switch stance. So, what was the process of sort of developing a game like that? Like you have Dutch kickboxing, which is combo, the leg kick, a little bit more just right in front of you, basically. So how did
Yeah.
you come to that style, to the style that you fight?
Yeah. So I've been with my coach, Christian Allen, for a really long time now. He's been the coach of like a lot of really good guys like Shane Carwin, Brendan Schaub. I think he used to corner like Dwayne Ludwig a little bit, and then he's like Neil's corner, Overeem's corner. So
Yeah.
he kind of flies under the radar because he's a pretty quiet guy. But Christian
Mhm.
Allen has been my guy since the first day, my first coach, and I think he's like his philosophy on fighting is just it's very Bruce Lee esque. Like it's the whole like using no way as way and using no technique as technique, and so that was really instilled in me just right off the bat. Like martial arts was introduced to me by Christian as something that doesn't have to be mechanical. It doesn't need to be whatever it is that I see on TV. It's
Yeah.
completely like my own creation, and right from the beginning, he allowed me to do that. And he was always my favorite fighter. He used to fight too, um, and I would watch him, and that's probably where I got my base. Like I know that like I get a lot of comparisons to Cruz and stuff. Because I did enjoy watching Cruz as well. But
Mhm.
I would say that like it's more like if people could watch Christian fight, they would be like, "Oh, that looks exactly like what Christian does." So it was like his philosophy, I think, inspired like the route that the style has taken, and also I think, I mean, he's one of the best coaches in the world, and he just knows how to coach, you know.
Is there any kind of like necessary adjustments in the training? Because, like I said, if we go back to Dutch kickboxing, usually in the training, you're either hitting heavy bag or you have a partner in front of you. You do a drill, then another, and it just seems sort of like you're playing, right? You don't have to throw every shot with full power. You're able to see, you're able to visualize like what's in front of you and not just throw a combo you remembered. So, is there any specific training that you do in order to just become better at that, become better at timing?
Yep. I do a ton of tech sparring. Um, like a ton of tech sparring. And some of it we don't even wear gloves for, so we don't even hit each
Mhm.
other in it. It's just it's just literally shadow boxing in front of each other, but using each other's reactions as that. And I think that that does two things. I think that one, it makes you better at like control, understanding the space. Um, because if you can't really hit each other, I mean, you're not really playing too much in the pocket, you know, like you're kind of
Yeah.
playing this like be outside the shoulders type game. So I think it does that. And then I think two, it just like it makes you like creative when you don't have to worry about getting cracked every single sparring session. Like you can go and you can like have more fun, and then you can be like, oh wow, like I'm having fun doing this, and this is also legit working for me too. And like those are exciting moments, you know, like those are exciting moments where you get to be creative and be like, oh wow, this is kind of like new, like I haven't seen too many people do this, that and I developed it in a tech sparring round. And
Yeah.
then to be able to take it over into sparring and like actually have it like be able to hurt someone is like it's like a fun and cool thing. But I do a ton of tech sparring, and I think it helps the eyes a lot too. Like it makes my eyes real sharp also.
Yeah. Do you feel like for tech sparring you need to first find training partners that you trust enough to do that?
Yeah, of course. I have I have maybe like 4 or 5 guys who help me a lot in just like technical training. And like while they might not be like world champion kickboxers, you know,
Mhm.
um, they still like can give me a really good look based off of uh, just like moving around light, and sometimes I'll handicap myself a little bit where uh, you know, I'll only stand lefty, or I'll like, you know, something like that. But
Yeah,
you definitely have to have good partners for sure.
yeah. Seems like you guys are really, like a family over in Denver. Just
Um,
everyone's just, like, nice and I don't know, I just can't say a bad thing about just genuinely good people.
yeah, we don't have a lot of drama with any of us, you know. I think that like all of the team members, we all like get along like really, really well. The coaches, we all get along really, really well. Um, and I think that we all just like genuinely care about each other. You know, like we're
Yeah.
not a big enough team to where like anyone gets like too drowned out, you know. I think
Mhm.
that most everyone on the team feels fairly important, and I think everyone does a good job of making them feel important. And like that I think is important, like for everyone to be on the same page of like, hey, like I care about your success and you care about my success, and being able to play off of that dynamic, like you can just be really honest with each other, uh and it just works, you know. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of drama with all of us. We all get along really well.
Okay, lastly, I wanna ask you about your back tattoo.
Okay.
Dude, it is huge. Can you tell me, like, just, 'ca I've seen it, I've seen, like, a nice picture of it, but can you just tell me how that tattoo came about? Because it's a big decision to make.
Yeah. So actually it kind of I got inspired to do it because when I was at that tournament in Italy,
Mhm,
there was a lot of Thai guys there, and there was a lot of like English people and French people that trained in Thailand, and they all had these massive back tattoos and like huge tattoos on their chest. And I just really thought that they were really cool, and I just wanted to get one. Like, I wanted to fit in with those guys because they were some of the best guys at the tournament, and I just wanted to fit in with those guys. So it's a pretty religious piece. I wouldn't consider myself a super religious guy, but I do like to take like pieces from each religion. Um, and yeah, I know on TV it isn't the clearest thing. Like, I get questions all the time, and I think my favorite one was one guy said that it looks like a smeared thumbprint. That was one of my favorite descriptions of it, because he's totally right about that. But yeah, that was, I just wanted to kind of fit in with the other kickboxers that I saw in that tournament when I was younger.
I mean, you're kickboxing now. You definitely fit in. But the tattoo looks cool too.
Thanks.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for taking your time. I hope you enjoy, your rest time, and you get cleared to fight soon again.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.